G-Dragon is a person that every idol wants to be like, but G-Dragon's life had so many ups and downs that is very heartbreaking. Since very young, Kwon Ji-young was pushed by his mother to participate in dance competitions. G-Dragon began his career at age 6 as part of the group Little Rora. Following the release of the group's Christmas album, the group's contract was terminated by their record company, which shocked G-Dragon. Although he vowed to his mother that he wouldn't try to become a singer again, but his mother still pushed him to participate in a dance competition, and Lee Soo-man noticed him. He was a trainee under the record label SM Entertainment for 5 years, from 8 to 13 years old, specializing in dance before he left as he was more interested in rap and wanted to pursue that. Catching the interest of Sean of the hip-hop duo Janusian from YG Entertainment, he recommended G-Dragon to YG Entertainment's CEO Yang Hyun-suk. After signing a contract with the record label, G-Dragon spent the first year cleaning the studio for the other artists on the record label and fetching water bottles during dance practice. They were living in very poor conditions. They lived in an old house that needed repair and was full of bugs as well. They didn't have much food to eat as YG would give them a small amount of allowance. But he pushed through the difficulties and was able to debut as a member of Big Bang. In the beginning of their career, they were not able to catch the attention of a listener, but with the song Lies, everything changed, and they became one of the most popular groups in Korea. Even though Big Bang was creating hits after hits, G-Dragon started to feel bad and fell into depression. The reasons were stress and pressure. As well, at that time the public was very harsh on GD and claimed that all of his written songs were plagiarized. They were saying this without concrete evidence. Feeling stressed, hated, and under pressure, GD had to keep working very long hours every day with no rest. Even Yang Hyun-suk started to realize that it's very serious and postponed an album that had to come out in April 2009. Unfortunately, Ji-young's solo album, set to be released in April, has to be postponed. About 2 months ago, I heard news about Ji-young being very tired from people in my surroundings, and I met up with Ji-young, and we had him sent for counseling. His condition is a bit more serious than a slump and depression. He was able to rest then for about 1 year and came back brighter and happier with a massive hit album, Heartbreaker. Like always, he wrote all the songs himself, and like always, there were people again barking that he plagiarized Florida's song for Heartbreaker. It even reached Florida himself, who had to come out and say there was no plagiarism, and then he and GD performed together on stage to quiet down those haters. His solo tour time came around, and one of the performances angered the media. In that performance, there was a bed standing and GD with a woman dancing in front of it. The media called GD out for a simple performance when most of his fans are teenagers. The backlash was so bad that somebody even made a petition for G-Dragon to leave Big Bang. At the same time, another petition was created for GD to off himself. It's so upsetting, and of course, due to all that, his depression came back, as he said in one of the interviews. While others sleep, I write songs. So I hardly sleep. I wonder why so many people hate me so much. I am still young, and I get hurt a lot. I am doing my best, so I hope you guys like me at least a little bit. But this didn't stop the attacks from the public. Then in 2011, he was under investigation for marijuana use. This incident landed G-Dragon in deep trouble. Although G-Dragon's urine test came out negative, a hair test indicated the presence of marijuana. As the problem escalated, he confirmed that he smoked marijuana but asserted that he was unaware of its presence. In his intoxicated state, he mistakenly believed it to be regular cigarettes. Due to this being his first offense, he didn't need to serve time in prison. But the public was very outraged, and he wasn't able to work for some time. After letting the public calm down, he did an interview where he shared his feelings. Because of the incident 2 years ago, I couldn't appear on TV, and some of my fans turned their backs on me. After that, I cried a lot. It was a time where I was able to gather thoughts by myself and have time to self-reflect. I started to lower myself from that high pedestal. I'm living with my family now, and I'm learning to appreciate my family too. Then he came back with an EP called One of a Kind. It became again a massive success, showing the haters that no matter how much you hate me, you are going to listen to my songs. In 2015, he revealed many times in the interviews that he feels lonely. There are feelings of loneliness when I'm by myself. People see all the glamorous things, but there are definitely times when I feel empty and lonely on my own. I've always thought that in that world, there is a lack of something. You may think that I'd have a lot of friends, but I don't have any. There are days when I don't get a single phone call. When I'm lonely and sad, I feel empty. Then Big Bang went on their 340-day tour, and it made him sad, lonely, and exhausting him to the point that he collapsed on the stage. Even after experiencing this, he went back up and finished the concert. He said about the incident, "I am the weakest out of the group. The other members work out. I did 10 songs in a row. In the middle of it, I was hyperventilating." Throughout the tour, many times he disappeared from the stage, and we don't know what actually happened. Then in 2017, he released an album, Kwon Ji-young, and we could see his emotions in the songs like Superstar. "I'm just living like I used to. My childhood wish. Even though I'm now living like the people I used to see on TV, I'm sad for some reason. The loneliness lingers. A part of my heart is empty." Quite soon he went on his solo tour, and during concerts he would talk about his feelings, how he feels lonely, and that he cannot distinguish dreams from reality, which really scared people. He made fans even more worried when he decided to post this on Instagram. "I want to hide in a place that makes me comfortable." After 4 months of his tour, he went live on Instagram, which he never does. He said during his live stream, "I came to my house in Korea after a long time after the concert, but there was no one, and I was so lonely, that's why I turned on live streaming. People watching this saw how sad and lonely he looked. This is so sad." He is not the type to go live on Instagram, but he was so lonely that this was the only way for him to feel better. Then his military service came around, and again, everything went bad for him. Not long after GD enlisted in the military, Dispatch, a well-known to hate GD, accused him of getting special treatment. They released a massive report with so-called evidence. But the officials rejected these accusations in spite of the proof that was presented during the course of time. GD tried really hard to make friends there, and even reports came out saying it appeared that he was really trying to make friends, be honorable, just be one of the guys. And then also, I guess there are some sayings that he used his Amex Black Card and just let everybody use it to kind of smooth the edges with money. But despite G-Dragon's attempts to fit in with his cohorts, it didn't help. You throw money around and you think maybe it'll help, but it didn't. Why? I think he suffered through some of the most egregious details that have come to light. Not only were people staring at him in the shower, and all the idols said that people would just walk by the showers, back and forth, pretending not to look, but they want to look. But in G-Dragon's case, the unwanted attention didn't stop at just looks. People allegedly tried to draw his body, which is a significant violation of privacy. Not only that, there were reports that guys were drawing diagrams of G-Dragon's body and showing where he had freckles, where he had moles, where he had tattoos, where he had scars. And this information, supposedly, was just supposed to be sent to the guy's girlfriends. But it just blew up all over the internet. Perhaps even more alarmingly, allegedly, G-Dragon's doctor in the military even released his medical records. Not only that, his own doctor in the military hospital released his medical records to the internet. And so there's an extreme violation of privacy. And on top of all the privacy violations, some of G-Dragon's belongings were allegedly stolen. Not only that, people were stealing his belongings, including his underwear. The YouTuber explains that the idol was eventually separated from others serving. G-Dragon had to really suffer a lot. And he apparently had a lot of injuries, and so he had to take a lot of medical leave. But then he also served through it. But then, apparently, they separated him out because of too much harassment. Even while he was eating, people were wasting time staring at him as he ate. Part of G-Dragon's harassment also came from the paparazzi, who filmed him without consent. The press got in there. The tabloid press were trying to get information out, and there was a lot of photography, photographing, and filming, apparently, of G-Dragon without his consent. Even visiting friends and family of other people serving in the military tried to harass the staff to see the idol. When people were visiting their loved ones who were serving, apparently they were also even harassing the staff, saying, "We want to see G-Dragon." But trying to separate G-Dragon only seemed to create more controversy, which the YouTuber explains is the precarious situation that idols must endure. How distracting is all this? And how horrible is it to his mental health? So he was separated and, I guess, maybe given some sort of private quarters. And I think it was related to the health visits, like a private room in one of the military hospitals. And that created a lot of controversy because people were saying, oh, he's getting special treatment. And so he couldn't have it both ways. That is the very precarious situation for some of these stars because they also can't be seen acting out because that's going to be really bad for their image. Troubles didn't end once he finished his military. On October 25, 2023, he was booked in on charges of violating drug control laws regarding suspicions of drug use. The reports on this came out before police even told him about it. Then a huge fiasco started happening. People started compiling videos where he would act weird and say he was on drugs. GD denied doing drugs and submitted a voluntary attendance letter, but the public and media, no matter how much he denied it, didn't believe him. After voluntary attendance at the police station, the media went hard on him, kept trying to make him slip and say something damning, and then later on articles came out dragging him for not smiling. He did all the tests they asked him and came out clean. But police were still talking to the press, saying he shaved his legs and dyed his hair to hide the evidence. All of this was proven false. But GD was required to do more testing, and all of those came out clean again. By that time, people realized that it was a witch hunt by the police and the media and came into support for GD. The media apologized to G-Dragon, but police, of course not. And after he went through all this, he came back to the music scene with the song Power, which set the 2024 Melon record with over 83,000 listeners in the first hour. And his interview on the U Quiz on the Block came out in which he shared his feelings about the past. I received a lot of love and had everything I needed, but I still wondered, am I happy? I should be. It was hard for me to stay sane. It felt like the Truman Show. Everything was going well for me, so asking for consolation was hard. I've lived a glamorous life for almost all my life, so things that weren't my problem arose. I tried to do what I could, but I felt pushed into a corner. I should have thought there was space behind me and not a corner, but it felt like I was being pushed into one at that time. I couldn't move forward, and there was a wall behind me. I forced myself to stay centered because if I became exhausted mentally, I would think about dangerous things. But now, time has passed, and my mind has cleared. Hopefully now only happiness comes his way. He suffered enough. Many people couldn't handle all this, but he fought through, and hopefully now only good times come. Go listen to Power. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.